Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in and being patient for episode 340 of your Overseas Connection, the official podcast of the G4TE.com community. That is Gaming for the Elderly, your gateway to a mature gaming community and a lot of fun people. I'm back. I took a little hiatus, a couple weeks off, back in the driver's seat. But I want big shout-outs and thanks to Richard Webster, who filled in last week, and, of course, Robin Tate, who hosted the week before. And with no further ado, Robin Tate on the show this week. Robin, how are you doing?
Hey, Uncle Greg. Good to have you back again. You can remember which buttons to press?
I think so.
That's probably why we're late. It's nothing to do with Fraser getting his iPad or me getting shaders for Destiny.
Not
just
at all.
You couldn't work out which buttons and what order to put them in. Anyway,
that was it.
It's good to have you back again. We thought you were abducted by aliens or something very strange. Nice to be on.
I was abducted by life.
Yeah, I know that
Yes.
feeling. It's Bongo the Scene here in Ballymena, Northern Ireland, and
congratulations,
hello,
Yes.
Northern Ireland.
yeah,
Yes.
we're through to the Euro finals. Not that I'm a soccer fan or a football fan, but I think it's the first time in 30 years, and I think Ireland have done pretty well too. And then there's the rugby tomorrow night as well, so there's a big match for Ireland in the rugby. So, yeah, we're really packing a punch in our little 1.8 million population.
Robin, in North America, we don't. I mean, we have a hard enough time understanding football. So, what is this rugby you speak of? Because next thing you're going to start talking about crickets, and let me tell you, I don't understand why you guys play sports with these little insects.
All right, rugby. It's a real man's game. You play this thing called American football with pads on, and you stop every few seconds. American football is a game where big men pretend to be hurt. Rugby is a game where men pretend not to be hurt. That's what it's all about.
All right, Robin, can I blow your mind right now? Are you ready?
You can blow me.
I played rugby in high school.
Whoa, good lad.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I got my first concussion playing rugby in high school.
Actually,
My mom looked at me. She's like, "That looked like that hurt a lot," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going to, I'm going to stay out."
I remember playing American football in my maths class one day with a stand-in teacher. Didn't go down too well. We were throwing some young man's bag around. It was huck, huck, huck.
The bag of some young guy.
Yeah, come on, some young guy.
Oh, no.
I didn't say that.
Yes.
You said that.
We've gone down a very dark path.
No.
Going down a dark path, gentlemen.
Big dark hole.
Thing is, you
Yes.
just show the dark path to Robin, and he goes skipping down.
I know.
He's
It's
away.
like you crack the door open and Robin is just like full on through the door. He's kind of like a dog. If he sees something, he just wants to charge after it.
The red wine helps a lot with that.
Now I'm drinking the white wine this evening because it is
And what
still
are you drink-
it's
what are you
hot.
drinking this evening?
That's a really good question. I believe we're drinking a little Bogle tonight.
Does it come from
Nothing
a big
fancy.
box?
No.
Big squeezy
It
box?
is not in a box. No. It is a bottle of wine with an actual cork, not a screw top. Screw top's becoming very popular, by the way. I'm not sure I'm a
Yeah.
fan. I like the whole cork action.
It works very well. The screw top works very well because you don't get that corkage.
Right.
But it's not as nice. There's something lovely about
Right.
which you don't get with a screw top.
Unlike.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm on my favorite brand at the moment. There's so many different varieties, but I'm on my Jammy Rammy Roo, Yellowtail, my Australian wine,
Okay.
which I
All right.
just absolutely love, and all the varieties of it. So
Ian Chapstick. Huh? There you go.
yeah, chapstick. There you go. So I've had an extremely busy week, unbelievably busy work-wise, just absolutely flat out, 14, 16-hour days. But I fitted in a bit of gaming, and it's good to be back here again. I mean, the last month has been crazy between hosting with Richard and EGX and all other bits and
I know
pieces.
you have had a packed full month. That is
It's been great.
that's for sure.
It's been good.
Yes.
It's been good. So who else is on the show then?
Well, somebody else who's been extremely busy, Mr. Fraser Moores. Fraser, I hear you have been busy buying stuff like a PS4.
Yes, Greg, that is correct.
Yeah.
I saved my pennies and I managed to grab a deal. And I talked a bit about it last week, but I grabbed a bundle with NHL and FIFA and flipped those two games and brought the bundle price down. And with my savings, it all came in. No impact on housekeeping, so that was nice.
No impact on housekeeping. That is, the utmost.
No impact on real money.
Right. Okay. Well, because also if you're impacting the housekeeper, the missus might have something to say.
Yeah. Well. So yeah, I did it as tactfully as possible. But yeah, I'm loving it. Yeah, it seems a nice, tidy little console. I can't remember. Do you have a PS4?
I do not. I've been waiting for certain things to happen, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yes,
could be in the news
foreshadowing.
quiz.
Yes, no news quiz, by the way. No news quiz, just topics that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
There wasn't a ton of news, but there were some big uns, if you will. But Fraser, good to have you, man.
I'm well, thanks. I have been very busy. It's our Thanksgiving this weekend, just as a matter of note.
Okay, right.
Now, celebrate it.
What exactly is the Canadian Thanksgiving? Just, I mean, is it because I mean ours it was.
Yours is focused on the Mayflower arriving, right, and all that sort of stuff. This is more a Thanksgiving for the fall harvest. Right, so it's just
right. It can't be thank God the snow's gone, because that would be a later time of the year.
Yeah, that would come earlier in the year.
Right, earlier in the year. Yes.
This is a eat up everything that we have.
Oh my God, it's coming.
Yeah, and fatten yourself up. Winter's coming, right?
Winter is coming. All right. Okay.
So that's good. So we've been out. It was a lovely weekend. We just went out for a wonderful walk. The salmon are running up the river right now, so we went down to one of the parks to go see that.
Okay, all right.
We didn't see any at all, but still, it was a nice walk. And I've got my bird for tomorrow.
Your bird?
Turkey.
Oh, no turkey. Are you doing pheasant?
No.
Pigeon?
I'll tell you what. We nearly did a capon.
Okay.
You know what a capon is?
I do not.
It's like for climbing mountains. You put it on your shoes.
Nearly. That's crampon.
My stomach. I've got the cramp on.
A capon is like the Batman outfit. It's a cape on.
Very good. Capon
dinner.
is
Dinner.
Oh, it's going to be a long show.
Yeah.
A capon is a neutered rooster.
Oh my goodness.
So
neutered rooster.
Neutered, yeah, so it's never whatever. I don't know how that affects the rooster. I'm sure it does psychologically.
Does it impact the taste?
Yes, apparently it does. Makes for a tender bird, but mostly dark meat. Not quite. Anyway, we decided not to go with that. But I learned. My butcher offered me a capon this week. I turned it down.
Right. What did you go with?
A duck.
A duck. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we're only going to have 4 of us, 2 adults, 2 small kids. So a turkey is no go.
Turkey. Well, but see, you save the turkey meat and you have sandwiches for like weeks after.
Oh my God, no! Come on, not for weeks. Yeah, it would be weeks.
Well, you freeze a little bit of it. You have to, freeze. Otherwise, it's going to go bad.
And then you're doing the old classic turkey curry or turkey shepherd's pie. I don't know.
Yeah.
No thanks.
As long as there's stuffing, as long as you have the stuffing.
Little stuffing, yeah.
Cranberry sauce there, and you're flying. I think, Greg.
Yeah.
Do you have cranberry sauce in America? Is that something you have?
We do. So here's the thing that'll probably make a lot of people in England. I don't know. We have cranberry sauce, but I personally grew up on the canned cranberry jelly.
Yeah, it's like a jelly.
Yeah, it's a jelly in a can, and what is awesome is you open the can up, and if you just get it right, you can get it to slide out of the can in perfect form, and it just sits there like a log, the ridges of the can in there. It is just fantastic.
Like a bit of spam.
Totally. It's like, cranberry spam. There you go. So, yeah. Oddly enough, though, cranberry sauce does not go well with mashed potatoes or milk. Have you ever eaten, take a bite of cranberry jam or just cranberry jelly, and then take a bite of either mashed potato or milk, and it's not going to taste terribly good. At least my point of view.
The milk is a weird one.
Well, that was me being a kid, I wasn't drinking wine back then. So yeah.
Yeah, I like a bit of turkey.
Yeah.
Well, why are we going to be?
Yeah, Yeah, because you used to do that Thanksgiving. It's like almost the year finishes very soon. At the end of October, the year almost finishes for North
Right.
America.
But see, this is to me right now. I can't talk Thanksgiving because the biggest holiday for me coming up is Halloween. Now,
Oh,
do you either of you celebrate Halloween really?
we don't celebrate it. We don't burn children at the stake or there.
Well, I have a super weekend. I grew up. Halloween's a very big thing in Canada.
Okay.
No
All
different
right.
than the States.
Okay.
Right, very big thing for me. My son's birthday is the day before Halloween. My daughter's birthday is the day after Halloween.
Oh.
So Halloween. So we have a big
Halloween
3
is
day.
yeah.
It's a
it's
big
on.
3-dayer.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
when
good.
when I was a kid, we didn't have turnips. Or sorry, turnips. We didn't have pumpkins. Pumpkins didn't come over here, and we actually did. We had lanterns and they were turnips. So you dug out a turnip. So pumpkins weren't imported. I don't know whether that was a Northern Ireland thing or just.
Did you
just
get like?
UK wide.
Did you go trick or treating and get potatoes?
No, I actually think that we did. We didn't. I think you went round knocking doors,
Right.
and it was you sang a little song. It was Halloween is coming, and the goose is getting fat. Would you please put a penny in the old man's hat? If you haven't got a penny, a halfpenny will do. If you don't have a halfpenny, God bless you. And then they give you money or sweeties. But trick or treating
Wow.
really came about when it was E.T. So
Yeah.
E.T. the movie. From then that we got Americanized, and we went. It was you went knocking for Halloween. It wasn't trick or treating. So it was E.T. in that first scene, and all the kids dressing up. I think that's really what really brought it. And then pumpkins started to arrive.
Yeah. See,
'Cause,
I grew up in England around about just after that time. And it was a bit of a painful transition. People weren't really sure what was going on. I mean,
Yeah.
most houses were, or people hadn't really learned to black out the houses to make sure that no one knocked on them yet. You know,
Yeah, that is
but
a
it's more
thing.
and more. It's just gaining momentum, and I think it's it's great for the kids, right?
Oh.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
it
it
is.
should.
It's good.
Great for the kids,
Yeah.
great for the adults. So we love Halloween in this house. I've loved Halloween forever. I am a big proponent of not only dressing up for Halloween, but also dressing up the house. So our front yard is currently becoming a cemetery morgue. And the wife, she loves Halloween too, probably as much, if not maybe more than me. But she's in this kind of dilemma where she loves getting all of the stuff. Like she loves shopping for Halloween and getting all the things to deck out the house. But she's also in that quandary of she wants to make it kid friendly and not too scary. And me, I'm like behind her, subtly pushing, scary as hell, scary as hell, scary as
Now, are
hell.
you going to do? Are you? You might be at this stage already, Greg, or are you pushing towards that? You've got the beat out GMC truck in the blue sort of or black truck in the driveway. It looks like you store bodies in it, and you're hiding in a coffin on the side of the house and scaring and you have speakers set up and
Yeah,
things like
so
that.
so we're more or less there. Like I look out my window, there is a skeleton hanging from our tree from a noose. And yes, I can actually make a noose just in case you
You're
ever
the
needed to
sort
know.
of name where I would hate. I would cringe. I would cringe at that. It's like when very shortly, I'm sure that you used to do it as well. Probably it started with you guys too. The lights on the outside of the houses.
Right.
Now, this is not Home Alone, classy, big house with all white lights. The people over here seem to do it as tackily as possible. They go down to Lidl and B&M bargains,
Right,
all the
right.
pound shops, and buy all the cheapest, tackiest, brightest, shiniest, flashiest lights and stick them all over their houses. It's terrible, and they will start to appear any second now. Houses
Yeah.
completely.
That's
yeah.
like where we are. We're the same, Robin. But down where I live, you'll get like a nice 5 to 10 houses. A lot of them are in sync with their neighbors. They just have nice
that's
white
become a
lights
big
or
thing.
whatever. We're all looking pretty understated. Maybe just one color, maybe two at a push.
And then that
the
one
10th
house.
will be the guy
Who also
sticking inflatable out.
Yeah, everything inflatable out there. Yeah, no, completely. Yeah, no, but Halloween, it's a big deal. In fact, strobe lights will be happening. I plan on getting a fog machine for this house. My sister used to kind of host it for us when we lived down in the Bay Area. So we'd do a lot of haunted houses at her place. So, I mean, I always dressed up as the scariest, grossest monster possible. And yes, Robin, I was scaring the crap out of not just kids, but adults. Yeah, we would make a tunnel filled with fog, strobe lights going off in it, all kinds of creepy, gross stuff in the tunnel. And you'd walk up to the house to get your candy. And I would always be like leaning up against a post or something that would almost look like I was a mannequin because I would just lean very rigid. And as they would walk by, then I would stand up and walk behind them. And it would almost always scare the crap out of people. Yeah.
I've always one great memory of... Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say to Greg, there's a very good documentary on Netflix about 2 or 3 guys in this town or whatever who are all really into Halloween. You should try and seek that out.
I will seek it out.
Fascinating.
All right. Okay.
Anyway,
yeah, we're a video game podcast. We talk about video games. We talk about life too, though. So hopefully Twitch has been enjoying this so far. We are live on Twitch. In case you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, you can jump in and listen to us live every Saturday. For the most part, every Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. UK. And if you're outside of those time zones, figure it out. It's not that tough. Anyway, yeah, so let's talk video games. Actually, before we get into that, we did have a quick email. John Mouse, friend of the show, fellow podcaster. Is he still doing his podcast? I don't know that they are. Yeah,
I have, no.
No, but there's a rumor at EGX that they may be starting something up again in a new format.
I hope so, because I enjoy it.
We were talking about giving John Mouse. I was saying on one of the podcasts that John should do his podcast, and then I realized it's been like a year. I don't know. I'm holding a candle for the podcast.
There's a candle lit in the window.
There's only so much you can do, right?
Yeah. Well, he did write in. He said, "Hey guys and gals, still loving the show. Could you mention on the show that G4TE now has a FIFA Pro Club on PS4. Those interested need to search for G4TE FC or message me on PS4. His ID on PS4 is John Mao 55, and that's JONMAU 55. And hit him up on PS4, and you can play some FIFA. Yep. So cheers from John. John, thank you so much. And go Ireland, right? Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about games we've been playing. Robin, what have you been playing?
You know what? I've been so bloody busy this week. I bought Destiny again. I sold it and then bought the new Taken King. I started a new character, got to the Citadel. That's all I've done. I'm regretting my purchase. More Forza, a bit more Rare Replay. I've been so busy this week. I've just been playing things that I could just switch off for a few seconds.
Right, jump in, jump out.
Been too tired, come home, 20 minutes, can't concentrate. Now, what I did play today for an hour or so was a little game. Can I talk about this phrase?
I'm glad you're going to, Robin.
Okay.
Because I didn't get around to playing it, so...
I think the release date is today, so I think we're okay. Kaju Panic. Kaju Panic is a lovely little game. It'll appeal to anybody that's into tower defense.
Okay,
and
you're speaking my language.
And maybe a bit of XCOM, because there's squads as cute as they are. But
tell me more.
Squad-based tactics in it.
Wait, you said cute.
Yeah.
What's the aesthetic here?
It looks a bit like South Park.
Okay.
Those sorts
all
of
right. Okay.
Little tiny bod-like graphics, that sort of thing.
Bring it on.
So the idea is there's a big asteroid has crashed on the planet, the Earth, whatever it may be, and they brought attackers, all sorts of attackers that are going to come to you. So you're in a town and you have to whiz around and scoop up all of the survivors, because there's a big, massive crash site. And then they've discovered that fragments of this asteroid are very, very good for making fancy weapons, tools, factories. So that you set up an ore mine to pick up fragments, to process them. Then you set up your weapons towers, barriers, you purchase things. There's a big upgrade tree on it as well. And I played it for about an hour today, and it was really interesting. So I have no idea how much it is. It was a little company that have done it. I don't know that much about them. They're called Mechabit. It's been out on the PC for a while.
Let's throw this out there this way, Robin.
Yeah.
Let's play a price game. I'm going to name a price, and you say yes or no. So if this game were $5, would you buy it?
I wouldn't have paid $5 for it.
Okay. So
I didn't pay anything.
No. So it's a review. It's a game we're playing here, Robin. So I'm going to give it a price point to you.
Leeching,
yes.
Greg. We're leeching.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want you to say, because I understand that you got a code from the developer, so you didn't pay for it. So you've done a review, and full disclosure, you didn't pay for it. However, if you had to pay for it, $5, would you have said, you know what? If I played a demo of this and I checked it out, $5, I'd buy in.
Yeah.
Okay. $20.
No.
All right. Okay. All right. 15.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But 15,
right.
10, 15.
15?
For an Xbox game, if it was a Steam thing, you wouldn't pay as much for it. But on an Xbox title, it would sit in at that £10 mark just perfectly.
Okay.
I think it looks very, very basic, but I think there's an awful lot of depth to it. So I'll play more of it. So Tower Defense and XCOM-y type stuff of squads, because different characters that you collect have different powers and they upgrade your different weapons and factories in different ways. The little characters, when you collect them, got to collect them all. There's hundreds of them. If you remember a TV program on kids' TV called Bod, the little characters look like Bod. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Never heard of this, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Clearly, Fraser is right on board. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bod.
This must be a UK thing. This is a UK thing. All right.
Yeah. What flavor is the milkshake today? Strawberry. Anyway, yeah. So check it out. It's a. I'll play a bit more, talk a bit more about it next week. Okay. Yeah, that's about me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's about you.
I've been doing lots of gaming stuff. If you want to hear a bit about that, I ordered another gaming PC today.
I did see that. Yes, you've ordered another gaming PC.
Yeah.
Now,
so
why another gaming PC?
Oh, it's not for me. It's for Charlie. So
now,
bad daddy. Charlie was getting ice hockey lessons last year for Christmas.
Okay. All right.
And he was getting go-karting lessons, racing lessons for Christmas last year. Did he get either of those? No. Bad daddy. Just hasn't worked out. So,
all right.
About when Joshua was about 10, he inherited a PC from me and he started gaming and stuff like that there. So Joshua built his big PC last year and I helped him do that. And this year we set a budget and we bought a budget gaming PC. Still expensive enough, but I'm going to sell a few bits and pieces around the house, and he's getting a gaming PC.
Sorry, you had
that was ordered today.
Sorry, I had to sell your car.
No, so from a game people called Overclockers UK.
Okay.
Very easy, nice setup, and that'll be here for him. His birthday is on the 16th of December.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, and then Christmas Day, so he'll enjoy that.
Good deal.
My Elite controller, which I pre-ordered the day it came out.
Right.
Judith thought it would be a good idea that if it came, she could wrap it up and give me it at Christmas time.
You know that's a good idea. You can't say no.
That is brilliant.
Apart from, the Halo in the background and Fallout and possibly Battlefront, and maybe I can't really argue too much really. Now, I've been debating on.
Because really, that's a long time. I mean, if it was maybe in November, you're like, well, you know what? It's November.
Right. But Fraser, you know how this went down. I mean, Robin is looking around there and she's like, "Dear, I think it would be great if we wrap this up and give it to you at Christmas as a gift, and you can open it up in front of the kids, and the excitement will be there." And Robin is got that totally non-genuine smile, and he's like, "Yeah." And he's turning away, and as his back turns, the tear rolls down the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Judith is as canny as she sounds, because that saved her one present to shop for. Clever girl.
Completely, yes.
Well, I've been debating on Twitter with a few people over the last few days. I have to test this thing to make sure it works. And what is a suitable length of time for testing? You know, should I switch it on and make sure it works properly, like in an hour, or is it
It's
a
going
day?
to work.
It's gonna work. Yeah, who you? Yeah, this
Just
is not.
check for 2 weeks,
So,
maybe.
hey,
Yeah.
look, hey,
Or-
Robin, I've got your back, all right? Anytime you need help, I've got your back, right? But not against your wife, all right?
Yeah.
Should I sneak it out when no one else is around from where I know where it is?
No,
and
but
back in the box.
the truth is, this is going to make opening up that gift even that much more. I mean, your anticipation now is going to be through the roof.
Well, I did hold it at EGX, and it comes in this beautiful little zipped case, and everything comes up, and I will. Yeah, I can wait, but 2 months. It comes at the end of October. The Amazon thing came in the other day to say it's coming earlier than expected. Thanks, Amazon. It's going to be here even longer. So yeah, that's happening. And then I got my Xbox Dash, the preview thing.
Right, the dashboard update. So
Yeah.
full disclosure to anybody who's thinking they want to jump into this, be prepared. It is still, I mean, it's got quite a number of bugs. You know,
Don't do it.
Yeah, I would say, well, and we'll dive into this conversation now because I was actually going to talk about this too. I was finding enough bugs in the dashboard that I actually elected to undo the HDMI pass-through, and I put my TV all on its own input now, and the Xbox sits on its own input on the main television because it was messing up so often in terms of just buggy little glitches here and there from the previous update that it was driving the wife nuts. And of course, if you're driving the wife nuts, life is hell. So I had to set things up and make it properly easy. Yes. Yes. So yeah, I would, it's great to be early preview, but
unfortunately, you can't wind back either.
yes, you can. You
have
can
to reinstall everything. Is that not right?
Well,
No?
yes, you do. I mean, you can opt out of the preview dash. Was it the NXE? I think that's what they're calling it. But yeah, I mean, you're basically going to go back through that whole installation process all over again. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, what do you like? I mean, I like the little flick the trigger and it comes up with your quick games.
Yeah,
I like that.
You know what I also like in a very, I mean, this is such a non-issue, but it's your themes in the background stand out more now. I feel like I can see them better as I'm going through different menu sets as opposed to before. It always seemed like things were blocking them a lot. So
I just think it's as buggy as hell right now. I mean, even trying to log in is just odd. I mean, it's
well, I have
a
mine
piss.
set to automatic login. So I would actually recommend that to anybody. Just set it to auto login.
That's okay for you. You're the only guy. I've got 4 or
Right.
5 accounts here, so
Right.
I can't really do that. So, but hopefully they'll get the bugs ironed out. But I don't think I should have hit the button. I looked at
Yeah.
it 2 weeks ago and went. I was about to press it and I went no, but I just went what the hell.
You know, it's funny. I accepted it in, but I accepted the initial notification to say, hey, you can be part of it if you want to, but you're not getting it now. And so I accepted that, and then I had gone away for the weekend, last weekend as a matter of fact. I think it was last weekend, or was it the weekend before? Last weekend. And I came home and new dashboard. I was like, okay.
No power saving in your house.
No, I'm all about energy inefficiency.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the layout's quite nice, and the bits and pieces are good, and I think it will work. And the way you can start up a party and stuff like that is really, really quick, and I like quick access to your friends list. So,
I think fundamentally though, it is a big change from the previous dashboard. So there's a lot of different ways now about going about it. Whereas before, everything was snapping from the right, and oddly enough now, like all of your primary functions come from the left. You'll still snap apps to the right, and it's just I think it is a learning curve in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I mean, this was the great test for me was the kids, and they hadn't a clue. So
Right.
the kids came in, well, what's going on? Why has this changed? We liked the old way it worked. And
Right.
so
Right.
it's what you get used to, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it makes it better for everybody eventually, when is it? So when is the final release of that supposed to come out? Is it
November.
late November. Wow.
Yeah. November
I
is
have a
when.
question. Maybe somebody can solve this here. So Robin and I console share, okay?
Yes.
Greg, you
Yeah.
console share, so
Yes.
you understand how the fundamentals of how it works. So I'm actually rocking Robin's officially or unofficially. I'm rocking Robin's console at my house.
Right.
So why? But I don't have the dashboard update. So how is it applied?
It's used by basically your. It's based off your ID. So your individual Xbox Live tag is what you're using to get into the beta program. So Bongo the Sane,
that is all.
Bongo the Sane is the gamer tag for accessing into the program, but he's able to apply it to the machine that he's playing on.
Yeah,
So I would
okay.
imagine if Bongo logged into your machine, Fraser,
Oh, I could log in as I could.
you could log in
choose
as
this person.
right. Choose this person, log in as Bongo, and then you could upload the new dash to your system.
I'm not going to though.
Yeah,
No,
again,
it's odd.
look, do it if you are interested in being part of it and actually helping make change, because that's one thing that I have found myself doing. I've been reporting a shit ton of bugs. I have found myself constantly, hitting that report button and sending off reports far more than I ever did on any of the previous betas. So to that extent, if you're the kind of person, if you like doing that kind of thing, absolutely, they need the help. There's plenty of bugs to go around.
I can get myself in enough trouble on my PCs and other
Yeah.
electronic equipment without doing it on purpose.
Yeah, but this is, out of all of the betas and the preview things that we've experienced within the past couple of years of gaming, I would say this is probably the most genuine, like, beta sign up that I've seen come to Xbox. Like, legitimate, like, this is a buggy preview version we need your help with, as opposed to before it felt like it's pretty polished and there's a few niggles.
I have a question for you.
Okay, I have an answer.
Okay.
How legit is it?
How legit is it? It's legit.
Or is it too
What's
legit?
it come?
It's too legit to quit.
It is a complete and utter change, you knob. It really is. It's like they forgot everything from before and they've started from scratch. So
Yeah.
it is very different. So there are some nice features on it. So
Yeah,
I think it will be good.
It definitely seems faster. I don't know if you've experienced this, Robin, or not, but I definitely feel like getting into things like settings, party, chats, that kind of thing, that happens much faster than it ever did.
Yeah, unfortunately, but when you start up a game now, there's a big pause. Or like loading Forza, instead of firing up in 30 seconds, it's taking about a minute and a half now and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
first world problems, but
Yeah.
yeah.
My favorite is loading a game up and then seeing it suddenly shrink back down to the dash. I'm like,
Yeah, we should
that
have
happens quite a bit.
before anyway.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's progress, I suppose.
First world problems. All right, well, anything outside of all of that, Robin? So we're
Well,
still
the
talking
last-
about you.
Yeah, well, the last big thing is, and it affects both of us here as well, because Fraser's not very charitable. 7th of November is the start of Extra Life. It is Extra Life Day, and we've got a big push on. We want to try and beat $7,000 this year.
Yes.
I think we're about 1,000 at the moment. So what it is, it's a 24-hour gaming marathon, and the money goes to kids in hospitals to make their stay a bit more pleasant. And I think this is my 4th or 5th year now, and yourself as well, Greg, there has been doing it from way back. There's a big team. The team, if you go to extra-life.org and go to the VGHub.net team, or just search for VG Hub, it'll bring it up. You'll see all the guys, and search for Robin Tate there, and give me some cash. I'm having this. I may be a 24-hour Forza and Metal Gear marathon this time around. I'm not quite sure, but something weird and wacky. And this year with all the streaming, it should be quite interesting.
Yeah, I know.
It was great. I was just going to say, I don't do it, right? And I'm not, I really have no intention of doing
refuse.
it. Just the thought of 24 hours of gaming just fills me with dread. Like, there's no way. But I am absolutely 100% behind everyone else doing it. And talking about the streaming, I mean, last year was fantastic. I think I dropped in on some of Robin's gaming. I would definitely.
It was Metal Gear actually too.
I think it
like,
was.
What the hell is this? I can't get on with
Ground
this.
Zeroes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 4. I was about 4 in the morning for me. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting on and whenever possible, jumping on people's streams. I particularly enjoyed Mike Chin's attention.
With
Mario. Focused on Super Mario, yeah.
Yep.
It's great. So yeah, I encourage anyone to, even if you're not going to do it like I don't, get behind some people, watch some streams, and get your wallet out.
Well, one thing that I'm going to do this year, which I haven't done before, I'm taking a leaf out of Mr. DeLacy's book. Everybody that donates to me, so if you make a donation, whether it's $5, $10, $100 or $1,000, I don't care. Your name will go into a hat. If you do multiple donations, loads of fives, you'll have more chances. And at the end of Extra Life, I'm going to pull a name out of the hat, and whoever that name is, I'm going to give them a AAA game of their choice. So that's going to be a nice thing. So get donating to Robin Tate at extralife.org on the VG Hub team. And if you don't support me, support Greg or any of the other guys. Yes. But definitely think twice about our friend from New York.
Yeah, don't donate to Gary DeFelice. Give the money to us.
Anybody else in the VG Hub team, but not him.
Robin's a bit of a P.T. Barnum, isn't he? Hey,
totally.
Roll up.
Yep, absolutely.
Get your name in the hat.
So speaking of getting your name in the hat, I actually, after the show, I'll be registering up for Extra Life. I have been so busy on just my life crap that I keep saying, I'll register next week. And I'm like, okay, no, I need to get on it. The time is now. So yes, VGHub.net is the team, and Extra Life. It is a really good cause. I mean, children's hospitals. You can't really say. I mean, I don't think there's a better cause out there. So
yeah, I know, and they're smelly, and they cry, and they're needy, and they've got snot, and they puke at a completely inappropriate time.
And it's awesome.
But you should support these guys doing this.
Yeah.
We were all children at once, or at one time, right? Or even at once. Maybe we've never mind.
A long time ago, I can't remember.
All right, Fraser. What have you been playing? Have you been fulcruming people? Is that what it's called?
I have been fulcruming people. I'm still plowing on with the Metal Gear Solid storyline. I've just finished part 1. It's just unbelievable. I mean, I just through some major parts of it, and really, felt almost like it could be cut off there, and that would be the end of the game. But it's not. So I'm now moving into part 2.
Did you play Metal Gear Solid 4?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Just double checking.
Yeah, I've all the way through all the Metal Gear Solids, so familiar front to back with all of them.
Right.
So yeah, it's been great. It's just a phenomenal game, and I've talked about it more than enough. But this week, Metal Gear Solid Online was opened up. So that's 8v8 team battles where you're going in and either just trying to shoot the enemy or fulcrum them out. Fulton them out.
Fulton them out.
Fulton them out.
Fulcrum.
Yeah, the way it works is they're setting it up. So you are in the map against another team. Every time you shoot a member of the opposite team, they lose a ticket. Every team has a certain amount of tickets. P.T. Barnum will know what I'm talking about. And as well as reducing a team's tickets, if you, instead of killing the opposition, if you actually disable them or stun them and Fulton them out, then you will get tickets for your team. So you can sort of swing the tide of tickets. But basically, when the match either runs out of time, whoever has the less tickets loses, or if the first person who gets to 0 tickets loses.
Okay.
That's the way they're running the mechanic for one of the games, which I've been playing. The only one I've been playing, which is sort of like really just for any, to call it what it really is. What do we call that in normal multiplayer matches? Skirmish, something like that.
Skirmish, sure. Deathmatch, that kind of thing.
Deathmatch, thank you, yeah.
Right.
There are a couple of other game modes in there. They have another one where you're supposed to be downloading data from point A to point B. I mean, again, it's like capture points in different guises. We've seen it all before 100 times. But it's pretty neat. Yeah, you just it run through your characters. You gain points every time you play. That unlocks customization, new weapons, new gear, and it's just very nice having played 70 hours of the single player campaign to be able to. When you start playing this, and Robin, you've got it right. When you start playing it, you're a little bit clunky. I mean, it certainly takes time to understand how he fits in within the world of being seen and the viewing distances of the guards and capabilities of your weapons and adjusting to that third person's perspective.
I got a puppy.
You've got a puppy, yeah. So you got D-Dog. So obviously, but after you've played 70 hours of this, to be able to take those skills and go online and fight against other people is really cool. So it works. I wouldn't say it's the multiplayer to end all multiplayers. No, it's not. But as an addition and an extra on top of what is already an amazing package.
Right.
It's just like they could not have released this week, and it would still be the most amazing game I've seen for years. And
okay, all right, high praise.
Wow.
And something else is being heaped onto it, and now they've added another layer. And then also, this week I've started doing the forward operation bases.
Okay,
Which is now you can start. We've all built up our mother base,
right?
Which are these platforms in the sea, which are all connected and whatnot. Well, now I can start invading those, and I've done a few invasions of people's platforms as well. So that's another
invading people's
thing that's going on.
Oh,
so it just astounds me, right? It's just.
Well,
the amount of content.
They kind of took a little bit of a page, if you will, out of Grand Theft Auto. If you think about it, Grand Theft Auto launched and they kept the online back for a little while, let everybody play through the single player, and then they launched the online. And the online for Grand Theft Auto, I would say, is as big, if not bigger, than the single player game at this point. And I'm getting that same kind of vibe with Metal Gear Solid Online. Instead of just Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, it seems like the online really is going to become kind of the mode long term.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I'm not sure. In all honesty, I'm not sure of the legs of it. I'm quite interested in what's going to happen with this forward operation bases and fighting people on these, and I think that's going to be interesting too. I mean, this game has legs. It's not running out of steam yet, and I'm. Like I say, 70 to 80 hours in.
And you haven't hit a wall yet. You haven't had enough.
I did hit a little bit of a brick wall, maybe a week or so ago, but I also got distracted. So I got distracted playing other games, and I might as well try. Teslagrad was a game that I talked about last week. I just fell head over heels in love with Teslagrad, which was a free game on PlayStation Plus, 2D platformer, sort of Metroidvania-ish. Hard platformer, not the hardest, not the easiest, so for sure. And then there's an OCD side. There's 36 scrolls that are hidden throughout the world, and so I had to go get them all.
Was there any in the Dead Sea?
No. Very good. And I got all those, and hunting for those was great. I mean, I brought a map up on my iPad and used them to find them, but finding them. Just knowing where they were did not mean you were getting that scroll that easy. They're hard mechanics involved to get some of these things. It's really good, but I loved it. It's
you have the patience for that. I do not. I can't do that kind of thing.
But I don't. It's funny because I don't have the patience for that in some other games. Okay. Some people do, but that format of that type of 2D game, I don't know.
But did you not do that in Batman? Did you not go through on all of the Joker challenges, or did you not go and OCD those out as well? See, there are certain things that you are very sad about. Yeah,
I know. I did that. Yeah.
Every time I hear the name Batman, though, I get sad. I still have not played the game. I started to play it, and I got caught up in The Witcher 3. And I made my choice, my conscious choice was to go to The Witcher 3. And so the Batman it's like every time I see Batman, or even like the show Gotham, I see it on TV, and I instantly think, I need to play Batman. I paid for the game. I need to play Batman.
Oh, yeah, well, you should, and you will.
Yeah, I will.
At some point, so... Yeah, so Metal Gear continues to be Metal Gear. That's great. And then I also bought a game called City Skylines.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Last weekend as a sort of a neat, it's a surprise purchase. I just saw it was 50% off on Steam. And I'd always heard good things. It was everything that Sim City wasn't. I had heard that it was accessible, easygoing. The devs supported it well, and it worked, and it was good.
Right. You've heard all of these things.
I heard all of these things, and I thought, and I don't know why, because really on paper it's not a game that I would like at all.
Right.
But I did go down. I started playing it on Sunday, and I loved it. I think I started off wondering why I was dragging this road, and this all looked.
And that's one thing I have heard a little bit about City Skylines is that traffic management is kind of key.
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. I mean, you have to get your roads. You have the ability to check all the statuses of your city. So, it starts off, for anybody who's not familiar with it, it's a world building game. So I started off, it said, here's your plot of land, here's a highway that's running through it. Now you can start branching off that highway with roads. Then you allocate certain areas to be either residential or commercial or industrial. Try and keep a balance going. It's good. Robin's just ripping up his custom copy of Destiny there.
Yes.
By the looks of it. It's a city building game.
All right.
I mean, and it's not something I expected to like. But it's something that I found very easy to get into.
I mean, if you were a fan of previous SimCities, this probably is a game to pick up based off of the last SimCity or most recent SimCity kind of falling short.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And that's the interesting thing. I'm not sure. If you're big into that genre and you know your stuff, I don't know whether this game is for you. I don't know the genre very well. All I do know is it was accessible and easy for me to get into. And once it had its hooks into me and I was relaxed and enjoying the pace and just my city just building up slowly over a couple of hours. And I added in some structures here and some buildings here and managed the wastewater and the electricity. And it started to become not hectic, but enough just to keep me going. Right. And then it was 4 or 5 hours later.
That SimCity thing always seems to come to that. Oh my God, it's just work, not game.
See, I feel that way about Civilization games, and I feel great about my cities building up, and then some fucker comes along and destroys everything. Right. I inevitably fail at those games. Anyway.
Yeah, and I think maybe this doesn't have that.
Right.
There's no end game, really, right? This is just building a city.
So there's no end game?
So it's, not that I've been made aware of.
Okay.
Just,
right.
I mean,
Interesting.
I could literally not make my city any bigger as far as I can see. I just have it ticking over at the size. So it's almost scratching a little bit of a Minecraft itch, right?
Yeah.
It's just creative.
Right. And it just continues.
Okay. There's loads of mods and things like that. And if you want to turn off the money management, which my son did, so he could buy everything straight away. Like he had like 1 row of houses and 4 hospitals. That just made no sense to me. And by accident, we turned on the money side for his game, and it showed that he was massively bankrupt. But,
Turn it back off.
But I'm doing the money management.
It's like the U.S. government.
It's very, very slow.
It's just like the U.S. government. As long as we don't look at the budget, we're good. Let's keep printing money.
Look over here. So it's good. It is good. I mean, people know that already. I found that out by accident, really. It was a nice little, nice find.
Some of the best surprises are accidents.
Well, this is what I was saying to Fish not long ago, like literally an hour ago.
Yes.
Is that you have to sift. I think we do this. We burrow our way through a lot of games.
Right.
And not all of them are great, and you make purchases and they don't turn out to be that great. And the key to not lamenting that bad purchase is knowing that occasionally you find these diamonds that are there. And the only way you're going to find them is if you go out and try a lot of things and get outside your comfort zone. I would never have thought that this would have been my type of game. So it's pretty neat.
Excellent. I'll quickly just dive into a couple of games since we've covered most of it. Rainbow Six Siege. Back, and this is a little ways back. You guys may have talked about this on previous podcasts. I can't recall at the moment, but I did play in the beta, and I thought it was worth talking about because I also played the Star Wars Battlefront beta just today.
Beta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching it. Joshua has it on the PC, and it just on the PC it looks absolutely gorgeous. Played a little bit at EGX as well, and thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're similar games in some respects, and I'm going to talk about them together because I do find they've gone about a very similar approach, multiplayer only. This notion of, I mean, they do have offline single player modes to them, which are in a sense lone wolf survival modes, where you can either play it cooperatively or by yourself, but you can do that just against AI. They both have that option, and then they have the competitive team modes. I do have deep concerns for both games, not having that single player story element kind of mix in there. And it's weird because I look at the success of Destiny and I think, well, Destiny really is an online multiplayer game. It doesn't really have a offline single player mode. So what is so successful about Destiny versus these two games, and what is it doing right versus those aren't?
I know the answer to this one.
Go ahead, Fraser.
One, it's made by Bungie, who know what they're doing. They basically have put in the Halo mechanic that we all know works well and have grown to love, but it's co-op.
So, yes, but the thing that I think makes the differences that I see, and the thing that I see about Destiny having a success that I'm really not sure Battlefront or Rainbow Six are going to be able to achieve, is that they have this this loot grind element to it that's also tied into a loose story. So you're progressing your characters within Destiny to go along this storyline, and the storyline is not fantastic, but it's there. And as much as I gave Destiny shit for not having a real great story or anything memorable per se, that element is completely gone and missing from Star Wars Battlefront and Rainbow Six. And so I really wonder if that is going to maybe be the differentiator, at least from a community standpoint.
Well, I think the Siege thing is a bit more of a slow burn. I think I said last week, I think it's going to be more like a platform. I think at the beginning it doesn't look like there's an awful lot of content there, but I think as more people get into it, like Counter-Strike, it's going to have legs.
I thought the same thing about Evolve. And Evolve really kind of went around, had a very similar setup to Siege and to Battlefront in that.
Yeah, but you don't need. But the Evolve had the one-person monster thing, and that was always the challenge.
True.
One-person body. But I think Battlefield. The Horde mode bit, and it was brilliant. I thought
Horde mode was good. Out of the two, I'll be very honest. I think I enjoyed my time with Battlefront more than I did Siege. So if it's going to succeed, I think it will definitely succeed more than Rainbow Six Siege.
Battlefront's going to be a hit.
I think it'll be a hit. I look, the game is pretty. It's hitting a lot of that Star Wars itch, and even though, look, very frank and honest, it is Battlefield with a Star Wars paint job with some similar mechanics changed out a little bit here and there. It's got the jet jump packs that makes it feel a little bit different from Battlefield. But outside of that, it really is. It is Battlefield in Star Wars, which that's not a knock.
Fine. That's a selling point.
Yeah, it is a selling point. Rainbow Six Siege feels like an incomplete game, maybe more so than Battlefront does, because I think Battlefront, to me, I looked at it more as being a Star Wars Battlefield, and I was kind of okay with that. Whereas Rainbow Six Siege, I felt like there's something's missing.
I love the way there's like some of the attention to detail in Battlefront, like the stormtroopers and the guys stumbling around the place, because the ground is quite uneven.
Right.
And just watching Joshua today, he'd been playing it most of the day, stumbling, around as stormtroopers do. They aren't, those white suits aren't exactly the best things in the world to run around in, and that little touches of detail I think are going to be really, really nice in it.
Well, and the destructible environments of the DICE engine, I mean, the Frostbite engine really shines in that game. And by the way, anybody worried about what the Xbox One version looks like, we know the PC version looks fantastic. We know the PS4 version looks good. The Xbox One version looks fantastic too. So if you want to play this game, don't think you're going to be getting a bad-looking game. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, would we like to see the resolution be 1080p, 60 frames per second? Sure. It's not.
But don't bring all that up again.
No, but just don't get caught up on that. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. It looks fantastic. Playing the demo, and I'll play more of it in EA Access, and check that out. So, anyway, Rainbow Six Siege. I want to go back to that real quickly. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but one of the things that put me off on that game, and thankfully you don't see that in Star Wars Battlefront, is you have these characters that you unlock. And this is where I drew a lot of Evolve kind of correlations, because in Evolve you have these 4 set classes that you play as, and then there's the monster. And if somebody takes a class slot, you can't play as that class. You have to play as a different slot. So that's, kind of, it throws you off a little bit when you're looking forward to, say, playing Assault and somebody has already previously taken the Assault slot, and so you can't play it. You have to play as a different character. In Rainbow Six Siege, you unlock these characters, and one of the first characters you can unlock in the beta was I was going to say the Dynamite guy, but it's not. It's anyway, it escapes me, but it's a character unlock. You unlock that character, and it was my first character I unlocked. So I was like all excited. I'm like, okay, cool. Next round, I'll get to play as this character. Go into the next game. Go to, going into the character customization. It was making a couple tweaks, and then I go to select the character. Somebody's already selected that character. And because they selected that character, I couldn't play. The only character I had unlocked was unavailable for me to play, so I had to play as a generic character. And that really, really put me off to the game. So that right there was, to me, kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, I don't like that. I really don't like not being able to play an unlocked character that I just unlocked. I do think Rainbow Six probably offers a little bit more in the way of unlocks as you progress and you earn your experience. It seems like they have a pretty deep set of things that you can unlock for your different weapons, because each character has a lot of different things that they can unlock. Star Wars Battlefront, it was a little harder to see because a lot of it was kind of locked away. But I one last...
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to, Left 4 Dead. You could play as all the different characters in Left 4 Dead, but they all had a pretty similar sort of skill set. You'd think that, that worked really well, and that was magic. You would think that all of these guys in Rainbow Six would all be trained in explosives, and they would all be trained in sniping, and they would all be trained in hand-to-hand combat. You'd think they would all have a certain skill set.
Well, it's
to stop that happening.
Yeah, it's because they've assigned actual personalities to these character unlocks. So it's not you're unlocking the FBI sniper character. It's you're unlocking Pyro, the FBI explosive technician. And so he has a very unique character to him, which, kind of like Left 4 Dead. I don't think you could pick, all 4 of the, I forgot the characters in Left 4 Dead, but I mean, there was the older guy that you couldn't all 4 be him. You'd have to pick somebody else. So I'm not a fan of that. And so Rainbow Six Siege to me is a game I will wait to see how it does with content and how it puts out, and I'll pick it up on the cheap down the road, possibly. Star Wars Battlefront is a game I could be swayed to pick up earlier, but I'm probably not going to pick it up right away. And the other thing about Star Wars Battlefront that I immediately saw and felt bad about was just the fact that Star Wars Battlefront, you start playing that, and you instantly see what a fantastic single-player game could have been made.
Yeah.
You know, they have all these assets. It looks fantastic. The universe is ripe for it. And unlike DICE, DICE has made some really bad single player games from the Battlefield perspective, because they try to go for this realism. They create these really dramatic single player games that just haven't rung true. But I feel like Star Wars, out of all of the different games that they have made so far, that's the one that they probably could have made an actual decent single player game, because you don't have to worry about being true to life. You can have some of that fantastical over the topness. I just really wish they would have invested that time and put together even a short 5-6 hour campaign. I would have enjoyed that. And it just screams to me that it was there. It was something they could have easily done.
Yeah, well, I think it's a lot of these developers now what does it say? The absolute minimum to get a package out now? What is the minimum they have to spend to get it
minimum
out?
They have to spend to get the maximum out of us. And that's the other disappointment. It's, again, both these games to me still feel fairly shallow. And the content I've seen out of the beta, granted, the beta only has a couple of different things, but there's also, areas that they show that are clearly locked. But they show them, and the content beyond that isn't screaming to me like a ton. So, I don't know.
Historically, Battlefront, though, the original Battlefront, that was just a multiplayer, though, wasn't it?
Battlefield.
The old one?
Or Battlefront. Yes.
Battlefront.
Yes, it was. I'm not saying they're breaking ranks. This is Battlefront was a multiplayer only game. I just personally feel like it could have evolved.
They should have put a clock in it.
They should have put a clock in it. Absolutely. And Robin, my Halo 5 lock controller came in. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Now, Amazon had I was looking to get an extra controller just to have one. Not that I really needed an extra controller, because I really don't do a lot of couch co-op. But every once in a while, one of my buddies will swing by and, playing a little NHL on the couch or a little Madden is always something that I want to do. And I only had the one controller, so I was just going to get a regular controller, because I really didn't want to pay the extra, $10-15 for, a special edition one. And I wanted the Elite controller, I wanted to just hold off and make sure it really was what it is. And then Amazon had a sale, and they were giving a $10 rebate on the limited edition Halo controller. So free shipping, jumped in on that, got it for the same price as a normal controller. So happy camper.
So are you a Team Lock or a Team Chief sort of guy then?
Team Lock. Yeah, I dug the silver blue. Yeah. Yep. Plus, I like Nathan Fillion, and he's part of Team Lock.
Yeah, Nathan's voice.
Yeah.
Well, look, speaking of Halo,
just
reminded me there. Series 2 of Hunt the Truth.
Yes.
Is now available for download. The first 3 episodes are now available. If you haven't listened to any Hunt the Truth yet, and you have any interest in Halo whatsoever, go back and listen to Series 1. They're only about 10 minutes long each, and it's a fantastic drama that gives you some real good background into the new game coming out.
Right. It's like an audiobook. I mean, and it's well put together. So don't think it's going to be something shoddy. You can download all the episodes. It'll end up being about, I'd say, what you think, about an hour and a half or so, probably all the episodes.
Yeah.
And it plays out just like an audiobook. Really
kid friendly.
There might be the odd shit.
So yeah, there might be the odd cuss word here and there, but I mean they're fairly Halo, teen rated, so to speak.
Yeah.
One thing I'm doing as well, I was recommended to do, is I'm reading Fall of Reach.
It's a fantastic book.
Which is supposed to be a really good background into a lot of these the characters that are going to appear in the new Halo game. It's actually a pretty good read. Actually, it's very well written. There's hardly any spelling mistakes in it whatsoever. Well, yeah, it goes quite a lot into the initial recruitment of John and Dr. Halsey and all that sort of stuff, and it's very interesting. It's good read. It's a good read.
It's a good read.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have talked about what we've been playing. Let's shift gears a little bit. And well, before we actually shift gears, I know we probably have a few people in the Twitch chat right now. Maybe give a couple quick shout outs, and then we'll talk about some of the recent news goings-ons. We don't have a news quiz. You are off the hook this week.
Okay, well, I've been wielding the ban hammer left, right, and center over the last few minutes in the Twitch chat. Some very naughty people have been jumping in there and trying to spam links.
Okay.
But in there, we've got Kyle, we've got Adamski, we've got Ballbag, we've got Gamer Girl, probably still wearing her Pikachu hat.
Yes.
Prawn Toast, and Spazzy McBobbins. What a great name.
Spazzy McBobbins.
Spazzy McBobbins. And for the reason I ripped up the Destiny thing there was the chat have already had the first one of the codes for a nice Destiny shader. So hopefully somebody will grab that up nicely.
Destiny
and there will be one of
shader or shitter?
a Destiny, a shitter shitty. It'll probably make your clothes look shitty. I've got another one of these, and I'll read it out on the podcast later on in the evening.
All right.
And I'm going to slip off for a second and get some more wine. Excuse me,
drunkard. All right. Let's talk about some of the news goings on. Fraser. This past week, Far Cry Primal got announced, and it's actually set to release in February, which is probably as big a surprise as the game announcement itself. Excited? Are you
100% indifferent?
Indifferent?
I'm not a big Far Cry fan.
No.
I've got Far Cry 4 lined up, courtesy of Robin.
Right.
And I still haven't got to it. In fact, I didn't even finish Far Cry 3.
Yeah, I played through Far Cry 3.
Blood Dragon was all right.
Yeah, so the premise behind Far Cry Primal is it's prehistoric, woolly mammoth, saber-toothed tiger times where you're playing a tribesman, and I want to say, in essence, your tribe is wiped out, and you're basically trying to establish a new tribe, something to that effect. There'll be, I'm sure, some crazy twists and turns. No doubt we'll probably see some boobs, because apparently that's the new thing for Far Cry.
So when two tribes go to war, there's only one that you can score.
There you go. I'm not... I liked Far Cry. Far Cry 3 to me actually was a really good game. The story was just okay, but I mean the mechanics of the game really, really good. Far Cry Primal seems like it's going to be a lot more hand-to-hand combat, and it's staying true to that first-person view.
Yeah,
and that to me is a recipe that may or may not really work well.
Yeah, but it might be brilliant. I mean, all this stuff about modern weapons, and the talk about maybe we'll go back to World War II and some of the shooters. Isn't it refreshing that somebody's actually going to try something different? No,
I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the time period. I love what the whole notion of being, picking up materials for crafting. Far Cry already had that, and this, it's just, it fits in perfectly with this whole theme. But I almost kind of wish they had taken this to a third-person view, because to me, first-person viewpoint and hand-to-hand kind of mechanics, combat mechanics, typically are a little janky. They're not really. It's difficult to do depth judgment, and unless they're going to make this a eventual VR game, maybe they will. I don't know, but to me, that just doesn't excite me that much.
I don't know. Well, the thing that struck me watching the videos was it looked a bit like Ice Age, the cartoon films, and I don't know if I feel happy about killing woolly mammoths, but. I mean, who will be the
from extinction?
No,
save one.
No. I suppose so.
The cards are marked anyway.
They are indeed. But who will be the baddies? I mean, I listened to the trailer, and it's all this weird language. There's
right.
So there's Ugga Bugga language. So how will it be all subtitled, or will we just get the feeling of what they're trying to express? Or will there be time travel involved? Will it be the last straggling dinosaur?
It is a Ubisoft game, so time travel is not off the table ever.
There will be climbing.
There will be climbing.
There's going to have to be some sort of projectile weapons, right?
And no doubt there will be elephant riding. I mean, or mammoth riding.
Yeah.
So,
boobs, hopefully.
Without a doubt.
Boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I quite like the idea of it. I look forward to seeing more details.
Are you
but,
worried
you could
about
be right about the third person? I hadn't really thought about, you know. But yeah, third person might work all right for that sort of thing. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I look at there's other games that have done the hand-to-hand mechanics from a first-person viewpoint that they did it fairly well. I just always have found it just to I don't know, it feels like it can be a little hit and miss, and that's I guess where my concern is for this. My other concern, outside of just the premise of the fighting mechanics, is just the fact that this game is coming out in February. They wrapped up Fallout 4.
February?
Yeah, this February. So they wrapped up Fallout 4. I mean, this is a real quick turnaround. You know, is it a Blood Dragon situation? Is it going to be a little bit shallower of a game? I don't know. But, I mean, it's an awfully quick turnaround time, it seems like. Assuming it's the same team that worked on Far Cry 4.
Well, I mean, it was Far Cry 4, and it got a reskin and a bit of they've already got the map generation stuff there, maybe already,
Yeah.
and they put in cavemen and a few big animals. Maybe that would be all right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Far Cry
Maybe.
3 and 4 were only 2 years apart. And these two are going to be only 2 years apart, 4 and 5, so
2 years apart? Well, Far Cry 4 was last holiday, was it not?
2014.
Was it 2014?
Yeah.
Well, then I do not know what I'm talking about. Clearly, it's fine.
It's a far cry from the games we used to play.
Yes. Let's talk about the PS4 getting a price drop. Official price drop, $349.
Mm-hmm. Announced in Tokyo a few weeks ago, so it's no big surprise that it's now came to America and USA.
Yeah, it was interesting though, because at the Tokyo Game Show they announced that during the show, and then this announcement came. I'll say more quiet. I would have expected it to actually happen at the Paris Game Show, but they actually made the announcement beforehand. So it came out this past week.
What actually happened at the Paris Game Show?
I don't believe it's happened yet.
Oh, right, okay.
Unless I'm completely mistaken, that's actually still to come. So,
right.
It was a little bit surprising that the actual announcement for the price cut came out. But yeah, effective, I want to say it was Tuesday. In the U.S., at least, North America, prices dropped to $349.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're on a roll. I mean, they're way ahead of the game. And reading there, Phil Spencer has almost conceded that they have won the war as far as the numbers of console sales are concerned, and his main focus is to win the actual users, not just the owners of the consoles, but the actual users and the Xbox Live,
right.
People that are actually on, rather than just I've got a console and I bought FIFA and.
Well, so that's the okay. So let's just talk about this console war notion. So, okay, we'll call the console war over, right? PS4 has won the console war. So what does that mean? Pretty much nothing. Everything goes on as normal. The PS4 will continue to sell. They're going to continue to get as many customers as they can. Microsoft's going to continue to sell their console. They're going to continue to try to get as many customers as they can. And the Wii U is going to continue to sell, sort of, and get as many customers as they can. Yeah. This notion of the console war being over, okay, fine, it's over. I would actually rather we just say it's over now, just so we don't have to have that conversation anymore, because it's kind of a stupid conversation to have.
Yeah, because they're all selling outstripping what they sold in previous generations. They're both doing well. So everything's doing well. So
yeah, the console war's over. Does that mean suddenly Microsoft and Nintendo are just going to stop producing consoles? They're just going to completely bow out? No. So it's this kind of weird notion that we, as gamers, have somehow really glommed onto. There's no war. the war will rage on because all three of these companies and any other new players are all going to continually be vying to get new customers and to try and pull somebody in. And for every customer that Microsoft, Sony, and or Nintendo gets on their end, that's a customer that likely Sony, Microsoft, and or Nintendo didn't get. And that's really where that quote-unquote war is, but it doesn't stop. It just continues on. There's no end game.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, those nerds are out there, and they will always be this way. They will always, say, well, the Xbox is better value than the PS4. That may be true, but I mean, all those guys, I mean, they're just fanny smellers. It's just absolutely ridiculous how
fanny
crazy,
smellers.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's unbelievable that's the case. But I mean, it's a good price point, $349 for PS4.
It's a great price point. And it's one that I was waiting for, to be perfectly honest.
Does it come with anything? Is that just the base? I mean,
I don't know. Xbox, I think they are. I think they are bundling in games still. So
yeah. So I mean, they've almost got price parity now. It is a toss of a coin. They're both great systems. Which one is the best for people? It's their own personal preference right now. If you were looking at I cannot even go in there because that's me getting that way. But I think as a value proposition now, both at $349, the Xbox at this stage is probably the better proposition if you're going to get EA access along with it as well, because that's a fantastic proposition there. And the price of Xbox Live at £20 for a whole year is very good that way too. Well, but it's still a toss of a coin, and I'm almost splitting hairs.
Yeah, I mean. Here's my take on it. If you own one of the consoles, this is a really good time right now. From the notion of, I am personally waiting on a PS4 because I do plan Uncharted 4 eventually. That's the game that really, for me, the PS4 is kind of that's my game for it, right? I wanted to see this price drop happen because I know next year, when Uncharted 4 comes out, and then subsequently probably 3-4 months thereafter, there's going to be some kick-ass deal that comes along with Uncharted 4 packed in, and it'll probably be even cheaper than $349. Maybe even a second game will be thrown in. And that's what I want for my second console.
Yeah. Well, looking at the game releases this week, which we'll get to soon, there are some stunking PS4 titles coming out over the next week. So, they're both exciting things to have. And I think as uber gamer nerds, you really almost need to have both to get the best of everything. I almost say need to have all three. There's some of us that have all three. We're uber nerd. Like Greg is the poor relation there.
I have stuck to my guns. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wine wife. My wine assistant.
A winey wife.
I fired up the Wii U yesterday. No, this morning we fired up the Wii U.
Yes.
And again, it was just when that console's working and with a good game, it's on fire. It's a great console. So, if anything's going to get price drops, you can pick those up now. If you look around, you can pick up a Wii U for like $250.
Yeah, and the key to again, and I will say this. Having both consoles out of the gate, this generation especially, and I felt it last generation when I had my PS3 and my 360, I really felt like there was not a real reason for me to have both. And right now, I don't feel a huge need to have a PS4 because there isn't that title out yet that I'm saying I really want to play that. Now, there is a game coming, I know that's coming for the PS4 that I do want to play, and that is Uncharted 4. But I would just say to any gamer out there, don't just throw your money at it to have both consoles. Because ultimately, if there's
loads of money, throw your money at it. Throw your money at
Don't
Sony
listen to
Microsoft.
Greg. Boring
Jesus.
old dad.
I came home from EGX and went out and bought Mario Maker straight away and played it and thought it was brilliant. Have I played it since? No, but I've got it.
No, I hear what you're saying. I honestly, Greg, the purchase of that PlayStation 4, like I said, I saved up for it. Absolute luxury. Mm-hmm. There's nothing. I haven't played it. I tell you what, we fired up Tearaway. I've unfolded or whatever it is this week.
Right.
I played it for about an hour before I was thoroughly bored and threw it back.
Oh dear, that's a great game on the Vita.
On the Vita.
Yeah, well, on the Vita, that's right. This is the joke, right? Okay. And what I think Infamous Second Son, I'd like to play that, but I mean, really, I've dropped quite a bit of money on it for what?
Well, you got a deal. I mean, that was
I can play Bloodborne, but I'm not saying like I'm ruining the purchase.
Right,
I'm very happy with it. I love it. It's great. I've got another, but I'm not disillusioned that I'm very fortunate.
Right.
And it's an absolute luxury and not really needed.
Right, and I think that's just the key.
90% of the stuff is available for me to play on the Xbox.
Right. And that really is either direction. I mean, this generation so far really has been, for the most part, a lot of multi-platform games where you pretty much can play whatever you want on either system. And even the indie stuff now is coming around. I mean, there's indie games being dropped out of the sky left and right. It's kind of insane how fast and furious they've come into the stores. But let's move away from this conversation and let's move into our last little news bit. Voice game actors are voting, substantially in the favor of striking.
Solidarity, brother.
Solidarity, yes. Voice game actors want a union. They want to get compensated for what they believe they should be getting compensated for. I don't know. I don't have a skin in this game, so I mean, I think they make enough money. I don't know. Maybe they don't.
I don't know. Speaking to Nolan and the guys there recently in the pub, what they're saying is there's times when they have a game like Call of Duty and they have to get all rough and coarse and it gets into their throat and it's hard. It's a hard day's work for them, and they want more money for that. Now, it is one of those challenging things. Seriously, it is a challenging thing. Is how can they ever compensate each other for that job? Because it's not like acting, where an actor will get money on how many times it's shown, and they'll get repeat stuff,
right? Residuals, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and then the argument goes, well, maybe the developers put in more work than the voice actors do, and they get a bonus on a Metacritic score or whatever other type of thing that they're going to score that game on, where they get their bonuses tied into, but they won't get anything residual like a voice actor will. But then again, that's acting. You mean that is their profession. Where it comes into play for me is, does this only kick in for AAA guys? Or I mean, what about Ori and the Blind Forest or some of the smaller titles and indie titles? Is that going to make it more expensive to make games because all of these voice actors are now unionized?
Probably.
It sounds like like the cream.
Sounds to me like the voice actors are finally getting recognized, and I'm not saying they shouldn't.
Right.
But they're finally getting recognized, and now someone behind the scenes is going, "Well, you guys are getting recognized. You know what? We can get you more money." Let's go get them. We're a union, so we can do this. And they're talking about striking, and really, I gotta say, you know what? Go F yourselves, right? You got paid to do your job. You signed a contract to do the job.
Right.
You do it. If
right.
you don't, if you want a better deal, sign a better contract.
Right.
But don't all get together and now you're all a formidable force and you want to strike. Take a walk. I'm not interested. My real opinion is coming out on that.
I know. And Fraser, it's interesting you said, they're getting recognized. Are they really getting recognized, or is it really that there's been a few standout voice actors? I mean, let's face it, we've got Troy Baker, we've got Nolan North, probably Jennifer Hale is another standout voice actor that you hear the names a lot.
Yeah,
but outside of that,
that's us.
I understand that. But I guess what I'm getting at is, outside of those three names, give me another name.
The pressure of a name. The pressure of a name.
Yeah. Okay. Nathan Fillion.
No.
That's a well-known actor. But
Nathan Fillion will sell copies.
Right.
Nolan North is not going to sell copies.
Well, there's an argument to be made about that potentially. He's becoming a marquee name.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll give you that. All right. let's go down. Let's go past Nolan North and Troy Baker. Give me the next person down who has the potential to move.
Well, this is kind of where I was going with this, Fraser. I'm with you on this. There's a few voice actors that have really stood out, and I think that these other individuals are rallying behind them because their names are out there, and they have cachet. And if they say they're not going to work on a game, unless they get a fair wage, blah blah blah, they will be the strength of the union. Without them, the union actors have nothing. And ultimately, I'm really with you, Fraser, on this.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. But I mean, if somebody's there and they're acting with all the balls and bits and pieces on them, and their face is being used as well, and they are getting more recognized, well, maybe we shouldn't be so whiny about it and make them equal and level with other professional actors that are out there. And maybe actors all get paid too much. I don't know, but maybe they're looking for that parity. What's wrong with that?
Well, perhaps the parity in the other industry is wrong. I mean, I just don't see the murmurings of holding an industry to ransom because you're in a union is grossly unfair to everybody else who works on the game who hasn't got. Right. I mean, there's two sides to it. One, get what you can get. Fair play to you. Right. I've heard people say that, and there's an element of that. And if the tides were turned and I was a voice actor, I'd probably
want to get everything you could.
Would I be jumping on board? Probably. We always want more. But my heart goes out to the people who are working on these games. I mean, they have to sign everyday contracts. These guys come in and do their work.
But what about
do your due diligence? Know that you're if you're going to be doing, your voice acting. Okay, I'm going to do a voice acting gig, and then they come in and they say, well, we're also going to do some motion capture for you. And I guess maybe this is the point of contention, is that sometimes they're throwing in this motion capture stuff on the tail end, and it's not necessarily being negotiated up front. So, to me, that's
don't do it though.
Do it, right? But I guess the flip side to that, and I guess as I talk this through, now I'm starting to sway towards Robin's side of this argument, Fraser, is that it is really easy in the voice acting scenario to get your voice acting done and then have somebody else come in and motion capture. Take that job away from you because you said, well, I didn't sign up for this, so I need to be paid for it. And they're like, well, we're not going to pay you that rate. We're going to use somebody else to do the motion capture. We can just apply your voice to that.
Well, I mean, you take it to like animated films like Toy Story or those sorts of things. What's the difference? Those guys are there and they're using their voice and they get paid, and these guys are using their voice, and they say now that gaming is as big as the movie industry. So, maybe it's time to move on a wee bit. Maybe it's not all backroom programming. Maybe it's a more professional thing. I agree. I hate unions, Fraser. Don't get me wrong. I've never anybody striking and stuff like that. It just drives me insane. I mean, the next thing you'll be saying, I've got a few sick days left. I'm going to take my sick days. I hate anybody talking that way. That's a union sort of thing and mentality, government type thing. But I still think that it's becoming more professional, and this is a professional way to be. So they're part of the Actors Guild or whatever it is, the voiceover guild or whatever that may be. And
I agree with that, though. I mean, I understand for actors to have a guild or whatever is important. There's only so much work that's out there, and you should protect that work for people who are devoting a life of being an actor or doing that work. But rallying round and demanding and making demands and threatening to strike, I mean, it's crazy. Actually, we talk about voice actors. One of the voice actors who I find very interesting was a guy called Jim Piddock, and he voiced Major Zero.
Yeah, he had big moobs, didn't he? He really had a big set of moobs on him.
I don't think we're talking about the same guy. He was he voiced Major Zero in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Okay.
And actually, if he's an actor as well. If you've ever seen Best in Show,
okay, yeah.
He's the English presenter at the dog show next to the American who keeps making the weird,
right,
stuff. Anyway, he was offered to come back for Metal Gear Solid 5, and they just gave him a pretty paltry offer, and he told them to do one. He said, "Forget it, stick it."
What? They offered him chickens?
His actual quote was, where is it here? When asked if he would reprise his role, he said, unlikely unless they increase their derisory offer to slightly less derisory.
Okay.
Basically ended up saying you can just go and do one.
Right.
So, I don't know what bearing that has on our conversation, but there you go.
I do not either.
Go do one.
Go do one is what we will. Let's move away from the topics. Let's talk about some new releases. Fraser.
Hey, sorry, just
Yeah, all right.
point. It's been brought up in the chat there, and I think it's a very, very good point.
Now, who made the point first?
It would be Mike Chin.
Oh, then it's not a valid point.
Oh, it is.
No.
He's starting up a podcasters union.
No, Mike, no,
I'm
because
signing up.
that means I have to pay, and I refuse. I will break this union. I will bring in scabs. I will cross picket lines. Mike Chin, you can go to hell, mister. Yeah, no to the podcasters union.
Yeah, you've used up all your holidays now, Greg.
Totally. Sick days and all. Got one sick day. I feel, by the way, guilty as all get out whenever I take a sick day because I work from a home office. And it's like, I just work when I'm sick. It's just what I do. If I feel really, really bad, I might take a sick day. But more than likely, if I do take a sick day, it's really a video game playing day because I just didn't feel like working that day. Hey. New releases.
We got that on tape.
New releases. Fraser. New releases. I have not heard you read new releases in quite some time. I'm hoping there is something very Japanesey within this list so I can just hear your sultry tones read through.
Looking through, I'm not sure. I can't see too much Japanesey, but
Well, the first one is a very Japanesey game. Very Japanesey
might
game.
be Atelier Ireland Trilogy for the PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay. Back to that's October. Oh, these are October 13th until I say otherwise. Back to the Future, the game 30th Anniversary Edition. It's coming out Xbox One 360 and the PS4. Is that the one, the point-and-click adventure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the remake.
It's just all right. It's just okay.
Corpse Party Blood Drive for the Vita, Dragon Quest Heroes for the PlayStation 4.
Looks good.
Does it?
Uh-huh.
Grand Ages Medieval for the PlayStation 4. Here's
Looks
the big
good.
one. Where's my son? I got to keep this down. Keep quiet. Minecraft Story Mode Episode 1 is coming out on October the 13th.
Oh, looking forward to that.
Yeah,
We're excited about that in this
Order
house.
of the Stone.
Yeah, I've heard that could be quite good.
Say it doesn't sound.
For the PlayStation 4, now this is one that should be on a lot of people's radar. The Talos Principle.
Another big title.
Yeah,
Looks fabulous.
this came out on PC, and anybody who listens to the Game Punchers podcast, Premier podcast,
No, never heard of it.
would
Premier League podcast?
Premier League, yeah, would know Fish's. This is one of Fish's top games from last year. He sings big praises out of this. I played the demo. I was like, maybe, but
I like Fish, by the way. Just give him. I'm going to give him a quick little prop on the show. He drives me nuts sometimes. I want to strangle him, but I do like him. He's been a good addition.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's great. Very good. And what else? 3/4 Home Extended
Yeah,
Edition.
that's so annoying. 3/4. What is that? It's 3/4, you silly Americans. It's 3/4.
Why are you blaming us? Maybe this is a Polish game. Why you got to blame the Americans?
Home with 3/4. And it's actually out on the Xbox as well. That's a really depressing game, but it's supposed to be pretty fantastic. But you're driving home when you take a phone call, and it's what happens to your family. It unravels during your drive home over the phone, and your life falls apart or something. It's a very, very Stu Fowler type of game.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess 1 of 4 die.
$4.99 on Steam, so it's going to be a cracker, obviously. Wasteland 2 is coming out.
I'm
for the Xbox
excited
One.
for this game. I'm potentially going to pick this one up.
Oh, what
Wasteland
do you know
2?
about it then, Greg? I don't know anything about it.
It's basically Fallout-esque, but harkening back to the original Fallout. So the 3/4 view over the top, top down. Turn-based,
Isometric sort of thing.
yeah, a post-apocalyptic future. Everything's, gone to hell in a handbasket. And it's
very well
RPG
reviewed on Steam.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for it.
This has totally passed by, but it's got very high ratings on the PC version. So yeah, that looks.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait until I see its performance on the bone and see how it does there, so I may pick it up, maybe.
Goosebumps on the Xbox One, 360, PS4, PS3, 3DS. I guess this is the movie tie-in. So it's
no, I had them though talking about Wasteland 2.
Oh, there you go. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Broforce is getting its official release on the PC on October 15th. Also on October the 15th for the PC, Mac, and Linux. Mushroom 11. I know nothing about that. Not heard of that.
Right.
And
Broforce.
For the PC, Warhammer 40,000 Deathwatch Enhanced Edition.
That's nerd game. Nerd.
That's happening somewhere over there. And the big one for the Wii U, Yoshi's Woolly World.
The big one.
Yeah.
The only one for the Wii U.
I think you got to be fair, Greg. They got some good games have been
No, I don't have to be fair. They have good games, but they have too few games.
I'll tell you what, and here's the thing, right? We were talking about these consoles. Here, listen up.
I'm listening.
DeLacy, get your ears on. Okay? If I was to honestly recommend anybody to go out and put 2 consoles in their house, it's going to be an Xbox One or a PS4 as the primary one, and a Wii U is the second one.
And I would actually probably agree with you.
You will get far more value for expanding your category, and particularly with
different games.
And what they do well. I guarantee you, I could bring a Wii U over to your house, fire up Super Mario 3D World, and you would have the biggest grin ear to ear as you watch that.
You know why? Because I would walk you right out of my house.
Yeah, well, my sister-in-law, as she's just been asking me what console to get, because the daughters want to have a console this Christmas, and this little girl, the youngest one, is 8 years old, and I know she wants to play Minecraft with my kids online. She comes around to play Minecraft here, but my heart of hearts, the perfect console for an 8-year-old is a Wii U. Yeah. By a country mile, it is.
Yeah.
But
no, Nintendo makes fantastic games. They really do. And my knock on Nintendo really is not quality. It's the quantity and frequency in which they're. I mean, they have moved past the Wii U.
I know, but okay, I understand that, Greg. I understand that, right? But from the context of a second console, right? How many things on the PS4? Do I get to complement the X? But the Wii U, it hasn't got a bad library now. I mean, I've got to give it some props. It really hasn't got a bad library now. And they are regularly releasing a ton of indie titles as well.
Right.
Which obviously don't make the news, but you know about if you have the console. So.
Yeah, the games are quality. I mean, Super Mario Maker, as little as I've played it is just
almost all the indie games that you're seeing released, like things like Guacamelee, The Swapper, the list goes on. Those are all on the Wii U.
Mm.
I'm just laughing. Your list was 2, and it was, but the list goes on.
I know. I'm not prepared for the argument, but I'm just saying.
I got you, and I hear what you're saying, and I do agree that Nintendo has a very diverse catalog. Yes.
Sorry, the chat is saying that Fraser's hands are huge.
Big hands.
Number one, DeLacy. Are you watching?
All right. All right. Let us.
Lively bunch in there tonight. I'm gonna tell you.
We're moving on. Robin, let's have you read through what's going on with the community. Let's talk about play dates and stuff.
All right. Clash of Clans, Boom Beach. We Are Epic has finished, and you guys decided the winner on Facebook this week. And the winner is Dave Avery Smurftastic for Smurfs Helly Revenge. And if you want to view it, you can see it at epic.g4te.com. And we'll be doing another We Are Epic. Watch this space. So well done, Smurftastic. There will be some money coming your way, or vouchers, or whatever has been organized for you. Then we've got a lot of car racing. So Forza 6 the Hot Lap Challenge, and I'm very, very much involved in it. Lime Rock Full in a Dodge Viper. It's a tune as long as it stays in the S, and the current standings for it. There's somebody called Bongo the Sane, and he's in the lead at the moment with a 52nd.585. But hot on his heels is Bob Bag, who's in the chat right now. Worse for wear on cider, I have to say.
Cheers, Bob Bag. Cheers.
And he's just behind me on 52nd.779. Then we've got that Scottish gentleman called Brian Rain God Zippo on a 52-second lap. And coming up the rear in 7th place is Kevin FH67. Make sure you have me, Bongo the Sane, on your friends list and get involved, because that's good fun on the old Forza. There's a Project Cars cross-platform challenge, and it's on the Sakito National Circuit with a Mitsubishi Evolution car. Tuning is allowed, and contact at Gonzo_FK with to find out more about that. And there's also an F1 2015 hot lap, and it ends on the 17th of this month. And that's any car you want and any setup on the wonderful Monaco circuit.
That's the beauty, by the way, of F1. By the way, it's you don't have classes. It's you've got your F1 cars. I mean, just tune it and throw it out there. And
yeah, that's why Ferraris and Mercedes are at the back of the grid and Marussias are at the front of the grid.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all F1 cars. It's not like you have a Class D or an S, an A class. It's F1s.
Well, that's the idea. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way in reality, but
I know.
In the game. So if you want to get part of that, tweet off on your PS4 to Morty1884 and David the Alien on the Xbox One. So there's been lots of car racing stuff going on there as well.
Car racing
is the person who's doing it on the Wii U.
There's no Wii U.
No
stuff.
Wii U. Hating life. He hates you, Fraser. He says, I should have never got a Wii U because I couldn't get Project Cars because they lied to me.
Yeah. So lots of racing going on. Forget these
Mario
people
Kart.
and get racing and play Mario Kart if you want to.
There you go.
There's some Victory Achieved stuff going on there as well. Would you like someone to take that?
I could take it. I mean, I haven't talked for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Victories Achieved. It's a contest we throw out there. Basically, if you finish a game, maybe you finished The Witcher 3 recently, maybe you finished Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain story mode. Probably not, but maybe you did. Maybe you finally finished Batman Arkham Knight. So once you finished a game...
Has anybody Victory Achieved the Phantom Pain yet?
Yes.
Have
we?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that person, when they completed the game, they should have taken a selfie with maybe the game in the background, the final achievement or trophy, or the end credits, and their happy little face because they just finished this endurance of a game. And you send that off to @g4te.com. Now, send it to this Twitter feed, not the podcast Twitter feed. It needs to go to @g4te.com. Spell the dot, Mike Chin. It's very important that you spell the dot. You send that off. Tell us what game you just completed. And make sure you put in the hashtag Victory Achieved, and you'll get entered into a contest that's running from basically now until October 31st. So you only have a few more days. I mean, less than, 21 days left. That's all you have left. And send that off, and you'll be entered into this contest. You can win $20, either PSN or Xbox Live, or if you do the conversion, it's a simple deduction of five, and you'll get £15 on PSN, Xbox Live, or Steam even. We'll even do that. Now, we do have a few people that have finished games, legitimate people that have finished games.
They're not legitimate people. Come on.
Well, Batch Gaming, not necessarily legitimate, but a nice guy. Batch Gaming finished Destiny: The Taken King. Pixel Theater finished Brother: A Tale of Two Sons. Amaras89 finished The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Well done, sir. Very long game. Harley Dan finished Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry. And Amaras89 finished Undertale.
Oh, he's the first one to do that.
Yes,
he is. It's a great game. It's getting almost 100% everywhere, that is. So, interesting.
Now, there's this other individual that's been late added into this list, so I don't know if this is legitimate or not, but
It's not.
Yeah, Fraser should have finished Telsgrad, but
Teslagrad,
whatever, Teslagrad, but he unfortunately has not tweeted out his picture yet. So
I'm not going to tweet that. I don't normally tweet out the victories achieved. Unless it's really a significant one.
And you miss out, Fraser. You miss out on an opportunity.
Actually, the only one I've ever tweeted out was finishing Evil Within. And I will tweet victory achieved when I finally finish Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
All
right. If you have stuck through it so far, I just want to say thank you because this has been a grind. Yeah. Destiny Code. Robin, you need to read this out because we're wrapping the show up. It's happening.
So you've got a PlayStation 4 and if you've got Destiny and you want a blacksmith shader, here you go. The code is QMQ-N7RNJ
Flowers. Nice.
There you go, and we shall rip that one up. That is now used.
Decode that.
What are they?
They make you color your clothes, I think.
No.
I think people were selling them for huge amounts of money on the internet a week or so ago when they all came out. So, yeah, there you go. Enjoy.
All right. If you want to take part in this podcast, we do live broadcast every Saturday, right around 3 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. UK. You just need to go up to your browser, type in live.g4te.com, and you'll be taken to our Twitch page, and you can watch us as we podcast. Or, of course, you can always pick us up on your audio feed, either iTunes, Stitcher. I think those really are the only ones that are worth mentioning. We're up on there as well. Look us up, the Overseas Connection Podcast. You can email the show, like John Mouse did earlier, and you just send that off to podcast@g4te.com. Some people, like Jason Johnson, normally send us trivia, which we love getting his trivia. He, unfortunately, wasn't able to send us trivia this week. He is knee-deep, or neck-deep, probably is a better way to put it, in his finals for his school right now. So he said he's just up to it. He just cannot break away from it. So good luck, Jason, and thank you for your support, regardless of whether you sent in trivia this week or not. But do it next week, or you're going to pay for it.
Do you think he is actually knee deep in his studies? Because that's the sort of thing I would have said when I was knee deep, when I should have been knee deep in my studies to make me feel better. I can't do that. I got to study.
Yeah,
even though I wasn't studying.
He's probably watching Netflix. Yeah.
I hope he's fist deep.
No. You could tweet us at OC Podcast. At OC _podcast.
You can't bring him anywhere.
No, you cannot. Jesus.
Oh.
Ouch. At OC _podcast is our Twitter feed. Follow us, send us information, send us just comments. We will answer all. We have a Facebook group because that's what we do. fb.g4te.com. Facebook, it is a happening thing. So yes, we have a Facebook page, and we also have our Epic contest. So any 30-second videos of you being epic or epically failing, you should upload those to epic.g4te.com, and you could win stuff. Like Smurftastic did earlier in the show.
Nice.
We have a Green Man Gaming voucher, a 20% voucher on our Twitter page. So just go check that out if you want to get 20% off at Green Man Gaming. We have a donation page for our prize pool because all the money that we take in, we give back to the community outside of funding my Ferrari fund. I'm basically.
How's that going for you?
It's horrible. It's a slow process, but it's happening, man. It's happening. I've got like 10 cents towards my Ferrari.
That's it's still a Ferrari fund.
Yep, Ferrari fund indeed. Donate.g4te.com. iTunes reviews, obviously, we love them. We have had a few, so thank you so much for those that have sent them in. And Extra Life. Don't forget Extra Life. Give us your money.
Gary DeFelice wants to know how much money you've raised so far, Greg.
Gary, Here's a newsflash. No matter what you do, I'm going to beat you. Yeah, so
It's on. I know it's on.
yep. So iTunes reviews, Extra Life.
Ask Defoe, and as friendly as I am with the Defoe, and I don't want to get caught too much in the rivalry, you could have a little stab at him. Ask him where his podcast is.
Oh, that shitty thing? Yeah, that podcast doesn't happen anymore. Gary
Where is it, Gary?
He's too busy just shoving his nose up the ass of the Denver Broncos and loving them. He cannot be bothered to put forward his podcast. It was a lousy podcast anyway.
That was a little bit more graphic of an answer than I had expected.
I know. Well, I am 2 glasses of wine in. Sorry.
Was it 4-0 earlier on today? No.
I'm sorry?
Was it 4-0? I heard it was 4-0 or something.
4-0.
He said, yeah, 4-0. No.
I don't know what that means.
I must look back in the score. He was going on about the score earlier on.
Oh, Gary, this is what I think of your Broncos. All right, let's get out of here. Let's do some shout-outs. I'm going to start it off. I'm going to shout out Mike Chin just because he was in there. I'm unshouting Gary DeFelice because he's also in there. I want to shout out the 2 of you for making the podcast because nobody else on the team was healthy enough and or could make the podcast. So thank you for making it. Absolutely, A-team. I want to shout out Christopher Matthew because he reached out to me yesterday and made me smile.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. So I want to get him back on the podcast one of these days. He is just a crack up to me. But I think, Fraser, you should go next.
I'll give you guys a shout out. Nice to podcast with you again. Rest of the crew, hello. Catch up with you soon. And anybody who sent me a friend request on the PS4 and invited me to all these groups and things that are all